Go ahead.
Okay, good. Can you see the screen? This data salary potential. Can you see it? Okay, good. Okay. So, welcome again. Take two. Good evening. Naging evening na eh, no? This is a brief insight on the results, collection of insights from the results of the survey that we did last 2024. And I'm very thankful to everybody who shared their time and answered the survey for us. This is not just a set of boring numbers. This is our own story. This is our own wiki of what we want for ourselves in the community, what we're trying to achieve, what skills we want, where we are in our learning journeys, etc. So as a roadmap for the next half hour, I'll just be, or less na, no? I'll be talking about 6 key points: salaries. I'll be talking about roles or career paths. I'll be talking about tools, data engineering tools. Fourth, fifth, I'll be talking about free resources again. So plug natin yan. And lastly, who we are as a community. And we learned a lot from this survey. So without further ado, I'll start. Now I'll show the survey itself. Can you see it? I'm showing the tableau now. Okay, great. All right. So we'll start with the salaries. I'm assuming that everybody's familiar with Tableau. So basically, it's just an interactive PowerPoint, something like that. So, and you can do breaks, whatever you want. So now we're in the salaries tab. Ang talas kasi natin nakikita yung mga tanong sa chats natin sa Facebook, yung interviewer po, ito yung binigay sa aking salary, masyado po bang maliit yun? O kaya, ah, masyado bang malaki naman to or something like that. So this gives us an idea. If you take a look at the segments we have here, 15,000, 15,000 to 25,000, 25,000, and so on, all the way up to 250,000. So these are the segments of salaries. And 448 people answered this. So thank you very much. This is something that our community really needs because the job postings are sometimes kind of vague and you don't know if it's a ghost job posting. So anyway, you can see here from the top right, there are categories you can select. So for example, ay nako, ano na ako, 35 years old. Ano kaya ang dapat kong salary? So nandito ka si 35, 39. And this will highlight all the salaries. So yun in light blue. So parang in 35 to 39 natin, parang evenly distributed across all salary groups. Now let's see. What if you're young? Oh, okay. So it's very clear. You see all the yellows is a 25 to 39 age group. So, expectation mo, a lot of you will be in the 15,000 to the 45,000 group. So, when you ask for a salary, you more or less know how much is, what is the reasonable amount to ask for. By the way, this is active salary, ha? This is not passive salary. We don't include your earnings from crypto or if you're selling your stuff. So this is more salary, okay? All right. So what you can do is just click that. Feel free to explore this. Wait, why did I go back there? Back to salaries. Okay. Feel free to explore this dashboard. So marami yan. We have employer type. So, mas mataas ba ang salary ng foreign? Mukhang hindi naman masyado. Versus local. So, all of these things, no? And skill sets, or even, education status. We see questions about, kailangan po ba ng master's degree para kumita ng malaki, di ba yan? So, kita mo naman dyan. Hindi, well, sort of. If you see 125 to 250,000, mas maraming mga masters dyan. But you can see also it doesn't necessarily follow. Ang dami ring may master's degree pero ito yung salary range nila from our community not from the rest of the total. So the community has shared that it's what can we infer from this? The community has shared that it's not really that necessary to earn a master's degree because it doesn't follow. Something like that. So you can explore all of these. No? You can explore general skills, industry, skill set, and all that. All right. So that's for salaries. Now the next point. Let's go to the next point. Top career paths. So let's go to the roles tab. So ano to groups of roles. So within these, for example, data analysis and insights, if you click data role on the top left, it has both data analyst and business analyst. Meron question din kasi sa Facebook, di ba, parang sabi nila, ano po ba dapat, business analyst o data analyst? Actually, nagkakahalo na sila Mukhang some people call them data analysis, some people call them business analysis. So, you can see here the types of individual names for the data roles that people have. But later on, I'll show you, ano yan may overlap yan. It's like a Venn diagram. So, as the senior people in this community know also, it's not, the data has shown us that it's like a Venn diagram. There's an intersection. So, some data analysts, for example, have indicated that their other roles include data engineering. In fact, 50% of them said that. So don't limit yourself to the title na data analyst ka lang and all that. Because at some point, you will have to go there. You have to go to, like, you have to know how to fetch data, etc., etc. So yeah. So these are the roles. And if you're just starting your career and you don't really know what to do, no, data analysis is more of like digging into the messy data, organizing them and making proposals or making recommendations to the business, to the organization, and adding value to them by giving them these insights. On the other hand, if you're really, really excited, no? Yes?
Sandy, sorry, can you check kung merong pending na admission? Nasa'yo kasi yata yung host
Nasa akin?
Oo, yung host para makapag-approve ng mag-join sa group.
Bakit napunta sa akin?
Hindi kasi yung nagpa-present ka.
Alright. 10 people enter the waiting room. Oh, alright.
Ayan,
alright.
admit mo lang sila. Ayan, thank you.
Masok na ba?
Dapat meron pang admit all or admit something na po. Wala. Wait lang Okay. Sige, okay na. Sige, continue.
Okay, continue. So we're back to the roles. Back to point number 2. So sobrang nakaka-inspire to yung mga makita niyo yung details of the roles in the Tableau dashboard. So explore lang kayo. It's all free. It's all there for us to see.
Ito.
Yes. Okay. Now to point number 3. Medyo bibilis ako na kasi medyo okay. Point number 3, it's about tools. So let's go to the Tools tab. I'm clicking the Tools tab. So we have the top lines here. So what are the top skills worth knowing today and top general tools we use? So obvious naman, it's SQL and Python. I think maybe we'll go back to the roles first. Allow me to go back to the roles first. And go to the skill set. There. Category selector, skill set. We're in the roles tab. You see SQL and Python really dominate. Of course, in data analysis, you have M, the Power Query, and DAX, but it's really SQL and Python. SQL and Python. Dito pumapasok yung sinasabi ko kanina, nag-overlap talaga eh. So, now we're going back to the tools, which is point number 3. SQL and Python are the top if you want tech stack to be to use the jargon of tech stack. But actually, under general tools, 88.7% use Excel in our community. Na hindi ibig sabihin yan na mutually exclusive kasi yung may alam ng SQL ni Python, alam din nila yung Excel, so dapat alam nila lahat yan. So these are the top skills worth knowing today or as of the 2024 survey. So we're doing another one this year, so hopefully we can see how it moves. But a lot of people use Excel, Google Sheets. So these are the two spreadsheet tools that are also necessary. It's not like you only know SQL and Python. Then hardware, of course, if you're planning to invest, it's really laptop, konti lang yung desktop. And then at that stage, 2024 September to December, AWS was top in the cloud platforms. All right. So this answers the questions in the chat na ano po kaya umpisahan ko. Ang dalas yan mayat maya meron nga every 2 months or every month yata may lumalabas. Ano po, bago lang po ako dito, ano po ang pinakamaganda unang pag-aralan? SQL talaga. SQL. And of course, you have to know Excel. Sorry, you can't escape. SQL, Excel, Python. And then ano yan, parang paano yan yung mga JavaScript and all that? May storya yan in JavaScript and language, etc. Allow me to go back again to the roles, no? Oh wait, sorry, the salaries pala. Salaries. Go back to the salaries tab. Interesting yan kasi yung skill set, yung mga JavaScript, yan, nandito yan sa mga matataas ng sweldo. Although meron din sa mababa yung sweldo. So it's either here or here. So going back to the tools, kita mo medyo ano yan These are the general tools, kumbaga. Tapos yung mga mga specialized tools. Depende na yan sa interest mo if you want to be an analyst or if you want to be an engineer or if you want to be somewhere in between. Gusto mo yung back end, gusto mo yung front end, ganyan. That's when you go to all of these things. All right. So hopefully nasagot na yan, no? Dalawa kasi yung skills question, parang bakit wala yung Excel dyan? Hindi. The way to think about this is you split the questions into two. What are the tech stacks and then what are the general tools we use? Kasi Excel also can be classified with Google Sheets, etc. So these are more of common things that people already know. So, and even employers, I assume, would want your basic minimum to be at least Excel. All right. So we went through the salaries. We went through the roles or the careers. Now we go to the popular data pipeline tools, data engineering. So we go to the DE tools tab here. And we have the categories ingestion, transformation, warehouse, orchestration, and business intelligence. Ngayon, mga debate kasi sa Facebook group na parang ano ba talaga dapat? Power BI o Tableau? Parang nabalitaan ko yata na Tableau na yung uso ngayon. Hindi. In our community at least, it's still Power BI. But if you know one, you will easily know the other one. I mean, the skills are very much transferable. Even Looker, Google Looker Studio. So yeah, hopefully this also settles the slight debate, shall we say, in the Facebook chats. For you can also look at ingestion, our career shifters. If you're a data analyst and you're looking for the tools to invest your time in, for example, ingestion tools, then Fivetran and Python. And then I just want to highlight sa orchestration, talagang winner tong Airflow. It just wins by a landslide. All right, so you can explore this tab also at your own leisure. So if you have questions about data engineering, kasi ano na yan nagiging parang blurred line na yung data analyst and data engineering at some point. Not of course not totally, but there are some overlap. All right, so we talked about salaries, we talked about the roles, we talked about the tools, we talked about the career, the DE tools, and now the fifth point that I wanted to focus on, free resources. So from this dashboard, you can actually access the website. So let's take a look. Let's click. Yan. The one in the dashboard directly links to the free resources. Ang dami niyan, curated by our community and led by Sir Mike. So we have all the resources here that you want. Ang dami tanong din sa chats na parang I want to learn SQL, may free po ba? Ang dami dyan. Excel, I want to learn Python, ang dami dyan. And then also, we have our own programs, which I think will be discussed later, led by one of our moderators also, the Python for Everybody, and then the Puso project. And then I think there will be a portion on what the current programs are. There are so many, right? So that's the fifth point I wanted to touch on, the free resources. So make sure you maximize all of those. There's even a roadmap curated by Ma'am Sandy Laguico. Everything's there. So I'm sure the ongoing programs will be talked about later on. And lastly, the community. So let's talk about the community, the EP. Only 6 out of 10 are aware of the website here. So please take the time to check it out or share it to other people. And if only half have used the resources, please use them because they're really something that, di ba, enjoy naman, lalo na pag libre, di ba? Ako enjoy ako pag libre. So there's so many free stuff. And it's no surprise that Data Camp is top here because our community, led by Sir Mike, is the partner of Data Camp Donates. And we now, I think we will talk about that later. How many now? We have 3,000, 4,000. So, but there's also Udemy, Coursera, W3 schools, and so on. So if you have money to spend, you can take a look at all of these common things that our community is spending time on and money. All right. So that's the sixth point, actually. Oh wait, next sixth point. Let's go to locations. The final one. The final point I want to leave with us is let's try to interact. Let's try to be active with other people. I know the people who are in this chat are the active people, so I'm preaching to the choir. But if you know some other people that you can invite, please do, because we are all over. We are all over, and it's not like when there's a meetup, it's only here if we zoom in. Even in the Philippines, for example, when we zoom into the Philippines, we are everywhere. We are everywhere. So let's use. Hopefully, we can use the resources we have. The Discord, pretty much underused. Are they all Filipino though? Well, most of them are. Generally, most of them are. Most of us are. There are some, I think, I don't know if they really are, but chances are, because Filipinos are scattered all over the world. So we probably are. This year, I know this area we have Filipinos here, so it's not like these are foreigners. Yeah, yeah. If you boost, correct. Boost the website in Facebook. Yes, boost the website. Uh, I agree. Totally agree. We can talk offline about that. We need skills in like social media marketing and all that, not just the tech stack. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Hopefully, we are everywhere too. So, in closing, sobrang insightful talaga yung findings natin sa State of the Community Survey. And I'm really thankful that a lot of people participated. And please participate again because we see a lot of information that are helpful to us, like the salaries, the roles, the skills, the tools, community demographics, all of that. Like if you want to have a meetup in your region, you can just be you now can like if you're somewhere outside of this area, maybe this area or this area, you knowing that there's a lot of us down here or a lot of us up there, there's no reason why we can't meet up, and have north chapter, south chapter. That would be so nice. That'd be so nice to evolve into that kind of community. Anyway, so this is just touching on the common topics that I found in the chats, and hopefully you use this information. This is our information. This is our community. We own this. So enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Sandy. I think we have less than 10 minutes. Guys, if you have questions for her. Ayan. O, Ma'am Sandy, yung first question. Paano po ma-access yung dashboard? Hindi pa yata siya naka-link sa DEP site eh. So we can link that.
Yeah, we can link. We can link. Not always. No, we closed the 2024 survey a long time ago. so so we can but we will open it again. Oh, we can open it again 2025. I'll make some changes now because I can open up some new codes because we have the initial run last year. So I can make them all drop down now and then. So hopefully less of the open ends to clean up later on.
Ito, may question about sharing yung data of the survey.
Wait, sorry, what's that?
There's a question around sharing the data of the survey.
Sharing the data, hindi ko makita. But anyway, can we share the data?
Sa Discord lang tinanong.
Sa Discord, okay. I turned off my Discord, sorry. Yes, this is tricky because we really value privacy of people. And the way we got the data now, if we release it, even if anonymized, you will see some people very clear. For example, if you're the only one assigned to Fiji, and everybody knows you're in Fiji, bisto na, yun ang salary mo, taga Fiji ka eh, di ba? So, we can't share it as is. We're trying to find some ways to anonymize it even more so that you can't really pinpoint, si ganito salary niya, si ganito yung salary niya. Yan. So wait for that. It's definitely in the plans because that's one of the objectives. We want to share it because the more, because Kaggle nga sana, we can share in Kaggle. So a lot of people will be aware of the Data Engineering Pilipinas Facebook group. Right. So we're thinking about that. The short answer is yes, we're thinking about how to anonymize it even further. Okay, if no more questions, that's it. 30 minutes lang.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Sandy. Let's start. So, yung topic ko is always be learning. So, essentially, ano to, parang short kwento lang about yung personal journey ko and then how it aligns with DEP. No? Kasi just to share with you guys, yun nga, recently I graduated from my master's. Um, and yung timeline niya is actually the same timeline with DEP more or less. So when I started, around the time na I started grad school, it's also around the time that we started DEP. So parang it's a fun way to compare yung journey um in terms of I guess growth, no, and then hopefully we can see some parallels. Um, we can see some parallels on some learnings, no? Yeah. Siguro I'll start first with why keep learning kasi yun talaga yung parang naging anchor ko, no? Personally. So ito yung personal reasons ko. Your reasons may be different. So yung first is fun siya. So meron akong isang idol, idol no. Hindi ko lang kung naabutan niyo pa yan, no? Si MacGyver noong unang panahon. Si MacGyver. So if gusto niyo pwede niyo hanapin sa torrent siguro yung series niya. Pero nakakatuwa yung character niya kasi he's designed to be a master of none, no? So generally siya. And parang yung thinking ko palagi is if if I can be like that, parang I need to know a lot of things. So parang, and given any situation, I'll be able to navigate it. Kasi, yun nga, meron akong idea. So that's how I see learning na parang, uy, if alam ko yan, para akong MacGyvers, maybe someday meron akong, I will arrive in a situation na itong learning na to will be useful. So that's kind of how I define yung fun part. The second one is yung VUCA. I'm not sure if you've heard of this terminology. So VUCA, I think nauso to 5 years ago. Essentially what it means is it's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. VUCA is a terminology na ginagamit to describe yung parang future, no? Yung situation ng future. And I like it kasi it perfectly describes yung future palagi. No? It's always volatile. You don't know what's going to happen. It's always complex. Hindi siya ganun kasimple. It's always uncertain. Wala talagang, wala talagang certainty. Um, yun. No? So it's always ambiguous. Mahirap to talagang truly define or pin down what's going to happen, no? So lack of clarity, ano ba talaga, saan ba talaga ako pupunta, ganyan. So um because of VUCA, it's always good to learn kasi if you learn, then you medyo na unpack mo each side of the VUCA, no? Parang maybe you learn what's complex and therefore it's not complex anymore. Parang ganun. The last one na parang reason ko for learning is syempre yung purpose. No? So if you have a good understanding of yung parang personal why mo, what drives you, bakit ka nagigising sa umaga, bakit ka, ano yung things na na-excite ka, then hindi nakakapagod matuto. Parang ganun. Parang learning becomes fun, learning becomes exciting. I'm sure maraming reasons to learn and probably may ibang mga tao, may ibang reasons yung mga tao. At least for me, ito yung top 3 ko. No? Siyempre minsan, kunyari nagkataon na meron ka ng mga, may natutunan ka and it gives you, kunyari, higher sweldo, kasama na yun. Di ba? It's a good byproduct of the journey, sabihin na natin. Yan. Okay, sige. So, yung talk ko, so I'll try to keep this brief na. Pero ito yung mga parang key topics na we'll go. First is yung ano yung learning models. This is a learning model na I developed as part of DEP. Tapos parang essentially in-apply ko lang sa sarili ko. And then next is yung flywheel natin, which is parang paano ko ba na-imagine na mag-scale si DEP. And then ano yung parang top 3 learned lessons na I'd like to share na at were really parang meaningful sa akin in terms of navigating yung pinagdaanan ko and pinagdadaanan ko so far. And then closing message. Okay, sige. So ito yung, I'll start first with this, no? Yung learning, yung models of learning. Sorry. Yung models of learning. So, essentially, this is trying to answer how do I learn ba, Mike? Eh, ang rami-raming, parang, ang rami-raming parang, it's overwhelming, di ba? Parang gano'n. Merong man magbenta ng bootcamp, merong school, merong mga open, di ba? Whatever. And then may mga tao na nagsasabi, hindi, tuturuan na lang kita, etc. So there's so much, no? And may chat GPT pa, di ba? Maraming sabi, no, huwag ka nang mag-chat GPT ka na lang. So, those are all valid parang learning methods, no? Learning modes. Pero I'd like to categorize them based on two things. The first one is, may pera ka ba or wala? That's number one. Can you afford it? So, kung free, then okay. Pero kung paid, then okay rin. No? So kung may pera ka, etc. The other one is, ano yung capacity mo for formality? No? Parang one, mas na-enganyo ka bang matuto if structured siya, formal siya, merong teacher, merong schedule, kailangan mo pumasok sa school, merong assignments, ganyan. And then merong parang resulting na certification, may diploma, diba? So that's usually the structure. Or ikaw ba yung hindi ka magaling mag-track ng time? Yung medyo ano ka, open, free-spirited ka, gusto mo on demand, na nakokontrol mo yung time mo, gusto mo, um, ang tawag dito, parang you learn from all places, hindi lang from one location. So that's the other parang axis, no? And that's how I built yung parang framework, no? So there are four quadrants. So the first one, so siguro one way to think about this, although hindi siya talaga the way to think about it, is that you can start from the lower left, yung lower left, no? Kasi it's free and it's medyo on your own, and then slowly you move here. Pero sa totoo lang, that's not true, no? You can start from anywhere and move from anywhere. And actually, that's what I will illustrate to you, no? Kasi pinagdaanan ko siya. Pero the point is, marami kang options, and this is one way to look at this, no? I'm not saying that it's the only way to look at it, but it's one way to look at it. No? So, kasi may mga ibang tao na happy na sila matuto sa, 'di ba, sa YouTube. Meron mga ibang tao na gusto nila, hindi, gusto ko may degree ako. Pero iba naman na nabubuhay na sila sa mga short courses. And then may iba na, they would like to get both worlds, no? Na parang, it's free but also it's certified. So may mga ganyan rin naman. Hindi man masama yun. So that's the framework na I'll be using to tell my story. Okay. Ano mang parang key differences ng mga different quadrants na yun? So that's subsidized education, accredited credentials, open source learning, and then skill incentives. May iba-iba sila because of their parang the way they are designed. So I'll just go through, no, kasi it will give you an idea, or maybe medyo gets yun na, no? Pero just to parang formalize it. So, for example, si subsidized education, ito yung mga scholarship, ito yung mga subsidized by the government, or merong parang free, no? Merong nagsusponsor. It's low cost, unang-una, because someone else is paying for you. Pero it's still formal, it's still structured. Siyempre, it's slow to update kasi madalas they focus on the basic, no? It's not really parang targeted or in demand. It's more of addressing a specific need. No? The next one is accredited credentials. Ito usually yung mga pinaka-formal talaga. So a university, a school, no? So madalas it's pricey because it's popular, it's well established, no? So pag ito yung mga kailangan top 4, di ba? So if you want to get the top 4 parang credibility, ganito siya. No? So you need to pay the price, which is either mahirap, in the case of kunyari mga science schools, or in the case of yung mga premium schools natin, no? Dun papasok yung price. High signal siya because it signals na, uy, high quality to kasi nagbayad pa siya. It's also rigorous, no? Because they want to maintain yung natawag doon, they want to maintain yung position nila, they want to maintain yung reputation. So, Then there's open source learning. Ito free, 100%. It's cutting edge madalas kasi best example nito is yung LLMs today, no? Sobrang bilis ng pag-churn out ng content sa LLMs. Actually, anything Gen AI, anything AI, sobrang bilis ngayon. So, it's cutting edge and it's DIY. Ang gagawin nila, share lang nila, oh, ito yung example nun, pero hanggang doon lang yung ibibigay nila sa'yo kasi naka-move on na sila. So, madalas wala siyang support, madalas it's really on your own, no? If i-compare mo sa isang, magbabayad ka na school. Kasi sa area na yun, since nagbayad, you will get the full support. Then, of course, ito yung mga targeted skills, no? Ito yung mga short courses, boot camps. Ito naman, smaller yung cost na you will need to pay kasi nga it's targeted. Kumbaga, instead of 4 years or 2 years or 6 years, you just need to do it 6 months, 3 months. No? So it's fast and practical. Um, it may not be at the level of a diploma, pero it gets the job done, kumbaga. Yun. So yun yung parang pinaka-key differences nila. So, I talked about that because ganyan yung parang learning journey ko. So, yun yung next na pag-uusapan natin. Um, yeah, sige. So, sa next 5 minutes, no, I'll talk about yung journey ko. So, yung journey ko, I've been in the industry for 17 years. I graduated 2007. Yeah, ang tagal na. So, 2007. And from there, parang kung saan na ako napadpad, no. I'm also you can, I guess, describe it as a career shifter. Pero sa totoo lang, I don't really like the idea of boxing yourself into parang career tracks, no, na parang, ay, IT ka lang, kasi IT yung pinag-aralan mo. Because the reality is, these are all human constructs lang. Meaning, tayo lang rin naman yung nag-decide dun, So, the way I think of it is I'm just reinventing myself, no? Parang saan ba ako papunta? Saan ba, parang as I go through the journey, my journey, parang nag-iiba yung mga pananaw ko sa buhay, nagbabago yung priorities ko, nagbabago yung hilig ko, nag-grow ako. And therefore, nag-iiba yung parang where I want to focus yung sarili ko. No? So, and that's kind of how I also try to navigate yung career path ko, no? Especially on how I learn. So, I started, syempre, I graduated from college. I took up computer science. So, nung time na yon, I was really thinking na I'll be a developer, no? Kasi that's when, kaya ako nag-computer science kasi nag-enjoy ako dun sa idea na parang, um, you can program things, you can create things. Pero yung where I landed sa part ng IT, hindi ako masyado nag-enjoy. Kasi I worked in operations at the start, no. It was still actually it's very much data engineering. It's back then it's called data integration. Pero back then hindi ko alam na ganun siya. So I think I spent 5 years there or almost 5 years. And then early part talaga ng career ko, siguro mga 8 or 9 years of my career. Parang doon ako nag-swim, paikot-ikot ako doon, and then I was really trying to find kung saan ba ako papunta. So what I've been doing doon is that I maximize yung sponsorship ng company. No, syempre what this means is that we need to start somewhere. So yun yung medyo parang I guess naka good start ako, no. Parang what happened kasi was yung unang mag-yes sa akin na company kahit hindi ko gusto yung work or hindi ko naintindihan yung work. Yes kagad daw kasi basta magkasweldo muna ako and then bahala na. So that's kind of how it started for me. And then from there, as medyo nag-grow ako na medyo naintindihan ko ano ba yung gusto ko or at least tingin ko gusto ko, I tried to learn. No? So, sinulit ko yung mga trainings nila, libreng trainings, and then nagpa-bond ako. So, they offered bonds, I think 1 year, 2 years para mag-take ako ng mga certification and trainings. I think nakapag-Java certification ako, ganyan. Pero sa totoo lang, never ko ginamit yon, no? So, never ako naging Java developer. Pero the point is, I was able to get educated. No? That's kind of what happened. And then somewhere along the way, I took up MBA. So, sa UP ako nag-aral because one, mura sa UP. So, I think, uh, basta super mura if you're going to compare with other schools. So, doon talaga ako napadpad. Um, I took it up because I was trying to understand kung sa IT ba talaga ako. If I'm going to be, ano, no, upfront. And I just parang yung mindset ko, so I was trying to open up yung mind ko na parang, oh, sige, hindi ako sa IT, saan ba ako? So let's just try to, explore. And that was the method na naisip ko, oh, mag-masters nga ako, and then let's see if it's going to open up new doors for me. No? It kind of did. So parang parang it made me make choices, hard choices for myself. Naglipat-lipat ako ng company na I was trying to look for kung saan ko pwedeng magamit. Eventually, I landed in a company na that was willing to try to parang explore with me. No? So, yung parang alignment was, ilagay nila ako kung saan nila ako tingin uh, I will be helpful. No? So, initially, they actually placed me in a more managerial role. Uh, yung, yung number one learning ko, so that this is, ito na yun, sa number three na yun, yung number one learning ko was hindi ako happy to do managerial work. So, learning ko yun na parang, uy, okay, I'm already doing very high level stuff. Nagmamanage ako ng mga tao, ng organization. Pero ang realization ko was, ay, okay, I think mas gusto ko talaga technical. Kasi sa first few years ko ng work ko, puro technical ginagawa ko. And since I was able to finally do management work, na-realize ko, okay, so tama rin yung original na idea ko. So what happened there was that naghanap ako ng other opportunities within the company. Eventually, I interviewed with one director, with one head, and sabi niya, "Oh, sige Mike, since nag-explore kami, opening kami, sa akin ka na lang, and then let's just see." No? Ito na actually yung start ko sa data kasi even before, most ng ginagawa ko was IT, data engineering work. Actually medyo closer rin siya sa platform. It's not really very as close to data as kung ano yung ginawa ko sa current na work na to. Pero ang naging surprise ko was that I had to work with a lot of actual data people. So statisticians, mathematicians, econometricians, and na-realize ko na wow, ibang-ibang IT mindset and world and knowledge versus yung mga medyo closer to the sciences. No? So I had to start self-learning, pero this time mas targeted na. Before, nagla-learn lang ako ng kung ano-anong tingin kong sikat, no? I had to learn Java, I had to learn ITIL, I was thinking of learning project management. Ito this time, medyo I was starting to feel more targeted, no? So I started to learn statistics. Well, alam ko na, but di naman ako ganun ka-studio, so I had to relearn it ulit. And then I had to, doon ko na-discover na, ay, okay, meron palang career around data. And sikat pala siya, no? Parang all of this time, I was actually doing it already, pero iba yung parang, I was distracted with other things, no? Hindi ako happy. Actually, I've been doing data visualization even before it was popular. Hindi ko na kung narinig yun na yung tool called Spotfire, no? So Spotfire was, isa sila sa mga popular na, parang sinaunang Tableau, no? Parang ganun. So ganun. And then I had to start learning ulit. So I parang reviewed Python, I learned etc. So ganun yung nangyari. So this one, I focus more on open source learning na. No? Then, yung isa kong na-realize, syempre nag-work na ako nito, medyo may pera na ako. Ano na, parang I realized na I need to start investing sa sarili ko. Before kasi, ano lang, talagang ano lang, yung mga open source lang yung ginagawa ko. So I bought books, bumili ako ng mga, hardware, nag-start ako mag-experiment, better tools, tapos nag-targeted ako ng mga certifications na this time, hindi na siya, kalat-kalat. I was trying to be more parang targeted and planned. And then, I also went back dun sa parang idea of open source. So I started connecting with mga communities. Dito ko nakilala actually yung our user group. I met Michelle, I met Doc Ligot. Nag-join ako ng iba pa, pero I really gravitated sa kanila kasi aligned kami sa parang bakit ba important ang data, etc. So AAP, doon ko rin sa nakilala. Ganyan. So from there, parang medyo mas naging purposeful na ako. Alam ko na what I want to do. Alam ko na where I want to go. And actually, from here, medyo ano na to, no? Parang medyo tuloy-tuloy na yung career ko. ano na siya, medyo nag-build na talaga siya, nag-accelerate na siya. Kasi medyo, alam ko na what I wanted to do. And then, eto, si grad school nangyari. No? So this started 2 years ago, actually. So 2 years ago, I started grad school. By then, hindi ko na kailangan mag-grad school, actually. Kasi maganda na yung career ko. I don't really need to, if guys, if you want an example of, uh, of a data career na hindi kinailangan ng mga certification and diploma, ay medyo good example ako. Kasi even though I have an MBA, pero ang MBA naman is not really data and analytics. It's for management, no? So, lahat yan talagang self-learning lang ginawa ko. And uh, for some reason, I got to the place where I am, no? And then naisip ko na lang na, oh sige, solidify. I want to solidify what I'm doing and what I'm learning through another level of education. And that's when I decided na, uh, actually, I was thinking na before na mag-PhD. Pero during this time, nakilala ko si Doc Rex. Si Doc Rex is a faculty in UP. And sakto, uy Mike, we're going to launch an AI program in UP. So sabi ko, sige, let's go for it. Yun, so actually that's most, no, parang if I'm going to illustrate yung career ko in this model, that's kind of how it happened. Ang hindi dito na kwento is ito, no, yung pag-balance ng work, ng life, and ng sarili. Another is yung mga problems na dinaanan ko sa work, no? Kasi medyo abstracted, no, and simplified. Pero syempre, ano ba yung mga challenges ng work, di ba? Nakailang lipat din ako. Ganun din, academic. Hindi naman ako ganun sobrang talino, pero tiyaga, sinaga talaga. Kahit yung personal environment, no? So syempre yung pag-balance ng family. Hindi rin naman ako sobrang ang tawag dito, parang kilala lahat, no? Parang yung, what I mean is yung network sa data is very different sa network ng IT. So, different industry siya. And then another sustainability, nakakapagod lahat ng ginagawa natin. And to make it sustainable na pagising mo the next day, energized ka pa rin, that's also something na you need to think about. Yun. So, that's kind of yung parang personal journey ko. No? So, let's look at DEP. No? So, DEP started again 2 years ago. Yung pinaka-idea talaga was pinag-uusapan namin to nila Sherwin, AEP. Actually, si Sir Rodren, no? Pinagkukwentuhan namin sila Doc Ligot, sila Michelle, na parang, uy, maganda siguro magkaroon ng parang community around data. And during that time, actually marami na. No? Pero wala nung parang yung gusto ko sana na completely open. No? So that's how we started. How do we do a completely open na agnostic na community? Bakit agnostic? Kasi there are some groups. A good example is our user groups. Si our user groups is very focused on the product of R. So napakaganda actually ng our user group na community. Pero it's R. So parang I was thinking, baka there's a way to approach it na ano rin siya, inclusive siya, meaning hindi lang siya specifically to R. So that's kind of how we started, no? And then from there, naisip ko, we partner with everyone. So para sa mga groups that are specific to a tool or an industry, etc., then pwedeng maging blue sea yung community na to. So that's how we started. And then naisip ko lang, since hindi ko na alam if I have time to create my own content, maghahanap na lang ako ng mga content. So during discussions, every time merong mga nag-share, kino-collect ko yun, and then ilalagay natin dun sa website. No? So that's the start. And then what happened was, slowly, may mga nag-show up na mga different community leaders, influencers, content creators. No? So a good example is Josh Dev, yan, sila si Sandy, no? So they started, parang they have the same value of they want to share yung knowledge nila, and they started helping. And then from here, medyo nag-snowball na siya, no? May mga professors na sinishare nila yung programs nila, no? And then merong mga other groups na sinishare rin nila yung mga scholarships nila, no? Ito, free to, pero formal entity, no? Institutional entity yung nag-share, no? And then also other groups have started partnering with DEP, no? a good example is yung kay Mark kanina. Uh, Python PH, no? So si Python PH is another group like RUG, except si RUG focus on R, si Python PH naman is focus on Python. So when they created or when they scheduled si PyCon, no? Okay. When they scheduled si PyCon, it's they provided tickets to us, no? So completely free. Yan. So parang scholars din. Um, And then, of course, minsan meron rin mga nag-share ng nung bootcamp nila sa group. And from there, before I know it, no, nag-grow na tayo to 36,000 in just 24 months. So, ang saya kasi parang nakakita tayo ng community na like-minded, same yung values that are willing to share and willing to mentor. Siyempre, not seen dito is ito, no? Yung parang ang hirap maghanap ng mga tao in the mga groups and entities that share the same values and vision. Especially yung part na inclusive yung community, no? Kasi sa totoo naman, it's really hard kasi iba-iba yung parang culture, no? Iba-iba yung background, iba-iba yung concept ng mga tao sa learning, no? May iba very strong yung approach and then may iba na very ang tawag dito, parang rigorous, no? Syempre, we want to create a very beginner-friendly na culture. In such a way na we're able to sustain it. Yan. So, if you think about it, yung journey ko sa community and yung journey rin ng community really aligns with everyone's careers, no? So, whether you're a beginner, entry level, experience, or in the case of yung mga seniors na natin, no, like sila Sir Rod, sila Sir Bong, mga leaders na in executive, na, mga people that are really skilled na in that area. There is a role for you, no? Parang it's either you're able to learn from the community or you're able to give back to the community. And that's for me, no, that's one way to parang think about it. Kasi when you give back, you're also learning kasi you're able to parang test yourself in terms of teaching other people and validating yung knowledge. So ito yung parang pinaka-flywheel natin na for me, how DEP talaga works, no? Punta ka doon sa group, you learn something, you find someone to share that learning with. Hopefully, it's something that's meaningful for them. And then, pag time na nila, sila naman yung magsusupport ng ibang tao. It's very simple, no? The way yung formula na to works. It's really just paid forward. And yung vision, well, yung pangarap is that it's something that will scale sa 36,000 that we have. Because sa totoo lang, it's not really something na tayo lang, individuals will be able to do. It's really a community. And ano siya, no, if you think about it, it scales. Hindi lang siya with DEP. As we partner with groups like Python PH, with RUG, same yung values, same yung things na we want to do, and same yung parang vision natin, no, of helping each other through technology. Ito, I think we can skip this, no? But if this is really some of the posts na meron sa group, you can actually scroll down a lot and may kita nyo marami dito mga nagtatanong, yung iba nag-share ng mga success stories nila, yung iba nag-share ng mga, uy, ito, we recruited people, no? Yung group, yung business namin, yung company namin, may mga openings. I recruited from DEP kasi I know itong mga nandito are, parang okay na yung I want to help each other, no? We want to help each other. And then yung pag-ask ng help and then pagbibigay ng comments, no? So, ayun, highly engaged yung mga tao. No? So, kumbaga, what ang point ko dito is that you were able to really build that. Okay. Some insights. Another insight is yan sa DataCamp. Right now, DataCamp is a scholarship, no? We have actually 5,000 slots. Ang goal ko is to reach 10,000. Tingnan natin kung kaya yun. Kasi 10,000 parang university na yun, no? Just to share, yung recent na graduation ng UP Diliman, that's around 5,000 graduates. So today, technically, we have 5,000 slots no, that we can share out. Currently, yung allocated is 3,500. No? So apply lang kayo ng apply, guys. Share nyo sa friends. No? And if you think about, ito yung gusto kong i-emphasize, similar to dun sa image na shinare kayo ni Ma'am Sandy. ang rami natin, kalat yung impact ng DEP across the Philippines, no? Um, and I'm hoping na we continue to grow this. Ngayon, long term, ang goal natin is actually to replace the data camp. Kasi syempre, we can't parang forever, hindi naman forever yan yung free eh. I'm hoping na eventually makapag-build tayo ng sarili nating content, if not collect, but also build, and then makakagawa tayo ng parang sarili nating data camp na completely free. No? Yan. Yan, so top 3 lessons learned. The first is builder mindset. So maraming sa group na nagsasabi na, ay, hindi pa ako ready, hindi ko pa alam. No? So, suggestion ko, and dinano ko to, no? Is, start today, learn Python or R or whatever, just do something, sirain mo, and then try again, no? Yan ang builder mindset. So, start there. Kasi, otherwise, never ka magiging ready. Number 2 is set up yourself for success. Maraming mga tao na yung sarili nila is yung greatest enemy nila, no? Dinadown nila yung sarili na, ay, hindi ako ready, hindi ko kaya yan. And then minsan, sinasite nila yung sarili nila na, ay, naku, yung mga tao, ayaw nila sa akin. So, be your best fan. Raming fan, no? So, DEP is your instant fan group. Share lang kayo. You will find people that will help you and support you. So, set yourself up for success. Yeah. Tapos lesson number 3, it's not the end of the world. You will make mistakes because kahit gawin mo lahat perfectly, something will always go wrong. Gawin mo lahat na fully budgeted ka, nag-aral ka talaga, whatever, pero pwede pa rin, there is something that can definitely go wrong and it will go wrong na si Murphy's Law. Ang suggestion ko, syempre, mindset lang. It's not the end of the world. You need to be able to move forward. Padayon lang. So, ano ka lang, parang be ready to just move forward. So, for me, yan yung parang top 3 na lessons. So, what's next for DEP? So, the way I see DEP, it's we're a community that's growing. So, right now, ito yung gusto kong mag-focus. Kasi, I think medyo established na tayo. Pero, if we can get more leaders to volunteer, to share, to be more active, then I'm hoping na parang slowly the community can really scale. No? Kasi it can't be na ako lang yung nag-push sa mga tao. Ang tawag dito. Kasi I think everyone naman wants to be able to succeed. No? And I think it's time for people to step up. The goal is to parang slowly in the future magmamitosis siya. Meaning, medyo nag-start na, no? So we have si Jerry, gumawa siya ng data engineering Cebu. If we can have na merong iba't ibang communities that are same value that came out of DEP, ang ganda nun. No? It doesn't need to be data engineering related. No? Pero it needs to have the same values. No? Meaning, ang focus is learning, ang focus is inclusivity. Yun. So yung closing remarks ko is everyone's journey is different. The community's journey is different. Pero if you want to start, ito yung suggestion ko. The first is you start with why. Ano ba yung what makes you wake up every morning na excited? Kung ano man yon, you need to stick to that. Number 2 is don't compare yourself kasi nga everyone's journey is different. Pero it doesn't mean na you don't look at others and learn from them. No? So that's why I encourage na mag-share, magkwentuhan kasi as you see each other's parang situations, you get to learn from them. You don't need to compare, pero if you can enrich yung life and journey mo through them, then the better. Last one is syempre lead with kindness. Di ba nga sabi ko kanina, shit will always happen. Very active si Murphy's Law. So be kind to yourself and be kind to everyone. Yung last ko na lang is yung call to action ko. So if you want to volunteer, ito to volunteer, ito yung link. I will share this link mo. And then please mag-share kayo ng greetings sa group. Yan. Since meron na lang tayong less than 1 minute, yung questions na lang, paki-post na lang sa group and then I will answer them. Naubos na yung oras. Ayun lang, that's all. Thank you guys.